Imagine this, a full 3-day weekend. Every week. That's the dream we're talking about. No more burnout, just massive gains in well-being. Welcome to Fluent Talk.
And welcome to reality, Ms. Wellness. To our listeners, you need to track the rapid shifts in our debate today from the idealistic to the financially hard-nosed. This is how professionals communicate complex ideas under pressure. Your fluency depends on catching these quick transitions.
If terms like productivity boom or work-life balance excite you, but you struggle with the rapid dialogue, please use the rewind button liberally. Listen for the emotional cues, the tone of voice. It often reveals the true meaning before the words do.
Let's begin. I state clearly, the 4-day work week is economically naive. It is not fiscally viable for essential industries like manufacturing, healthcare, or retail. It will compromise our national economic viability.
But the data is undeniable, Mr. Pragmatist. It leads to a productivity boom. Studies show that employees with better work-life balance use their time more efficiently.
You're only looking at white-collar trials, Ms. Wellness. We need to talk about the majority of the labor market shifts this would create. Who mans the factory floor on Friday?
Well, perhaps we can use staggered teams. The benefit to employee well-being alone justifies the logistical challenge. The data shows a massive productivity boom. When employees are rested, they're sharper, make fewer mistakes, and complete tasks faster. We are replacing wasted office hours with focused, high-value work.
But that's only in small, specialized firms. Try implementing a 4-day week in a hospital emergency room or a food processing plant. It destroys operational efficiency.
Then those sectors need to adapt with flexible staffing or hire more people, which is a societal win. The alternative is burnout and decreased employee well-being across the entire workforce.
The productivity boom. Can you define precisely how that term is measured in the context of this 4-day trial?
I'm happy to clarify. A productivity boom means that the output of goods or services increases or remains steady, even though the total number of hours worked by employees has decreased. The key is increased focus and efficiency, not longer hours.
I understand the theory, but in reality, you're asking companies to absorb a massive labor cost simply to cover the Friday shift. That's not a boom, that's an increase in overhead.
The cost of employee turnover and chronic illness due to burnout is the real overhead, sir.
Look, we must maintain economic viability. For global competitiveness, we need more hours of output, not less. This whole proposal is built on a lack of understanding about what drives economic growth: sustained output.
Economic growth built on tired, miserable people is unsustainable. Work-life balance isn't a luxury. It's a driver of economic longevity. A healthy employee is a committed employee.
But for many jobs, there is no work-life balance. The work simply must be done 5 days a week. If you don't do it, your customer goes to a competitor who does. This is basic market reality.
I must interrupt. You used the term economic viability. What does that term encompass when we discuss a national labor policy? Like, what are the critical metrics?
Economic viability refers to the ability of a business, industry, or nation to sustain its operations and generate profit over the long term. If implementing the 4-day week reduces overall output, increases unemployment costs, or makes our exports less competitive globally, it is not viable.
But the evidence shows the 4-day week increases local spending on leisure and services during the 3-day break. That massive influx of spending actually boosts economic viability in the local economy.
Local spending is irrelevant if our core industries cannot compete globally due to reduced working hours.
The fundamental gain is in employee well-being, reduced stress, improved sleep, time for family and personal development. This leads to lower healthcare costs for the whole society and a happier populace.
But you are ignoring the strain on small businesses. They cannot afford to hire 25% more staff to cover the missing day. For them, this isn't well-being. It's a guaranteed path to bankruptcy.
But, I believe small businesses will find that the reduced sick days and higher retention rates actually save them money in the long run. It's an investment.
Hold on, Miss Wellness. You used a term, work-life balance. What does that term specifically mean in the context of a worker's daily life? Like, what is the practical goal?
The goal of work-life balance is to reduce the conflict between professional and personal obligations, ensuring that individuals have enough time for rest, family, and personal interests. This balance prevents burnout and ensures long-term commitment to the employer.
A nice concept, but unless that balance can be achieved without destroying the economic viability of the businesses that employ them, it's simply not feasible on a national scale.
The moral obligation is to the worker's health, not the shareholder's schedule.
We have to consider the massive labor market shifts this would cause. It could inadvertently lead to a two-tiered system, privileged office workers on 4 days and essential workers forced into demanding 7-day shift rotations just to cover the operational hours. This increases inequality.
But every major labor reform, the weekend, the 8-hour day, caused huge labor market shifts. We adapted then, and we can adapt now. You are assuming the worst outcomes.
I'm assuming the realistic outcomes. How do we legally mandate that a major supermarket maintains the same level of service with 20% fewer working days? That requires a complex and expensive overhaul.
You have mentioned fiscally viable several times. What does it mean for a company to be fiscally viable when implementing a massive change like this?
A policy is fiscally viable for a company if the resulting increase in productivity due to rested staff and reduction in hidden costs like sick leave outweighs the expense of any necessary mitigation, such as hiring more staff or paying overtime to cover the lost day. If the costs exceed the benefits, it's not viable.
The data shows the benefits do outweigh the costs. This is about embracing efficiency, not fearing change. The answer lies in the hybrid solution. Not every job is suitable, but a vast majority can be done in 4 days. Where necessary, companies can use staggered schedules and technology to cover the gaps. The key is flexibility and trust in the employees.
But that hybrid solution entrenches the inequality I warned you about. Why should a software engineer get a 3-day weekend while a paramedic or a grocery store clerk does not? This policy is inherently unfair.
Life isn't always fair, but we can make it better for everyone we can. Employee well-being gains in one sector will eventually pressure others to innovate or offer similar benefits.
You assume that a 3-day weekend is the key to happiness. Some people prefer the rhythm of 5 days. You are trying to mandate happiness at the expense of national economic viability.
I concede that mandated happiness is impossible, but mandated rest is a moral necessity. The 4-day week is the future of work-life balance, and it will drive a productivity boom when properly managed.
I remain skeptical that the cost of such a large labor market shift can be absorbed without significant economic pain.
My conclusion is simple. The 4-day week is essential. It's an investment in human capital.
But it's not fiscally viable for crucial industries. The costs outweigh the benefits.
The productivity boom is real. It dramatically boosts employee well-being and reduces burnout.
That boom is only for a few sectors. It creates dangerous labor market shifts and inequality.
We must adapt. The work-life balance gains are too significant to ignore for society's health.
Adaptation costs billions. This risks our overall economic viability.
A happier, healthier workforce drives innovation and long-term prosperity.
Prosperity requires sustained output. This policy fundamentally jeopardizes that.
I urge everyone to embrace this future of work for a better life.
I urge everyone to look at the numbers before we make this leap.
And what an incredibly current, high-stakes debate that was. We literally just discussed the future of your working life.
I, Mr. Pragmatist, focused on the financial risks and the lack of economic viability for key sectors, warning of major labor market shifts.
Well, I, Miss Wellness, presented the powerful case for a productivity boom and the massive societal gains from increased employee well-being and work-life balance.
Fantastic work, listeners. If you followed the back-and-forth arguments, tracked the financial terminology like fiscally viable, and felt the intensity of the exchange, your advanced English listening skills are robust and ready for the boardroom.
If any of the concepts felt too fast, remember our most crucial tip. Listen to the tone. Was I excited? Was he skeptical? The tone guides you through the complex vocabulary. Pause, listen, and repeat. Please like and subscribe to Fluent Talk.
Join us next time for EP 26, where we will dive into a crucial discussion on social media and democracy. Is it an essential tool for public discourse or a weapon of misinformation?
That promises to be a very polarizing discussion. Thank you for challenging your English skills with us today.
Goodbye, and make sure those hours count.